Hey, good evening, and welcome to the Uptown Parlay Podcast. Now, your host, Ace.
Well, Atlanta's going to
Yes.
win the game.
Uh-oh.
Oh, no, they're not.
Uh-oh. Oh, no, they're going to... Second and
Tampa's got the
23.
ball. Well, we'll see. Welcome to the Uptown Parlay Podcast. We got Ace and Ant this week.
Yes.
Hey. I took the Falcons and took the Bucks on Thursday night, so we're paying attention. Today is my birthday. If anybody wants to wish me a happy birthday, y'all can find me on Twitter. I will not refer to it by its new name because, as you know, LeVon can keep calling the Commanders by their old name. I will keep calling Twitter.
Come on, it's X. It's named after DMX. It's X.
No, it's not named after DMX. Although I do kind of like that. I would prefer that if that was the actual reason. And for all of you football conspiracy theorists out there like Ant, who assume that the refs are all working for Kansas City.
I was right.
Yeah, sure you are. We found a website for you to track who the referee assignments are week to week, and they tell you who the head ref is. And it's called footballzebras.com. You can go to week 3.
Ref, you know who it is.
Yeah. If you think some refs are more biased than others, you can go there and check that out. The person calling the Jets game this week is Scott Novak, 9:30 a.m. London game.
Yeah, he looks like a fair type of referee. So
he looks like a fair ref. So that's good.
Yes.
So Ann approves of him. So that'll give you guys a little bit of cover for that.
Yeah, until Sunday at 9 p.m. 9 a.m. when the Jets start losing for some strange reason. See what happens there.
But I'm going to give y'all a couple of college picks that I've made earlier. Florida State's having a tough year. DJU is not going to play, which I think is giving some people some hope. I think it's false hope. They are getting 14.5 points at home. Clemson has been murdering teams since they got blown up by Georgia, who was one of the 3 best teams, I think, in the country, maybe 4 best teams. They're going to be in the playoff. Clemson is playing their way in. Clemson is going to Florida State. They're going to beat the brakes off of them. UConn beat up on my beloved Buffalo Bulls. UConn Huskies are not a bad team. They just can't beat a Power 5 team. They're playing one of the worst teams in the country in Temple. This is kind of a rivalry because they used to be in the same conference in the Big East for a couple of years. I'm going with UConn. UConn is favored by 17.5 because Temple keeps getting rocked. They lost to a service academy. I can't remember which one, but Army and Navy haven't been playing this well since the 1940s. So they got that going for them. SMU is playing Louisville. Louisville's at home, and they only got to win by a touchdown. I'm leaning towards Louisville. The way they played Notre Dame, they're a really good team, and I think they can beat SMU, who beat up on a bad FSU team. And also, Oklahoma State is at home, -3 against West Virginia. West Virginia is good, but they're not that good. Alabama is going to Vanderbilt. Vanderbilt is getting 22 points, which means Alabama has to beat them by 3 TDs. I don't see that happening. Vanderbilt has Diego Pavia, and they got a really good team, and they are not scrubs. And having Alabama in their house is actually pretty favorable for them. I expect them to cover, but not to win. I would also take the over in that game. And another really, I think, a kind of a guaranteed win here. South Alabama, who's been putting up dozens and dozens of points on people. You saw them blow out App State on that Thursday night football game a couple of weeks ago. South Alabama is -3 points at Arkansas State. And Ant's favorite team, Boise State, is at home against Utah State. And Ashton Jeanty is running his way to the Heisman. 250 yards last week, a couple of TDs. I'm going to ride Boise State to the promised land. I'm going to keep picking them all year long. Michigan at Washington. Michigan has been bowling over teams. Washington lost to Washington State, and they're not that good, and they're not as solid as they were last year. They lost too many players to graduation. UCF is going to Florida. Florida's at home getting 2.5 points. I'd tease that up to 3 and take them. And Tennessee is going to Arkansas. Tennessee is -13.5. And their quarterback, Nico Iamaleava, is amazing. A kid from Cali can throw, and he can get that ball out there. Those are my college picks for y'all, if y'all want to stick with that. And also, Iowa is going to Ohio State. They're getting 18 points. I know that Ohio State is one of the better teams in the Big Ten, but for a 3:30 game, I do not expect Iowa to get run over by Ohio State. They have a great defense, and their offense is capable. They're not great, but they won't just get bowled over. That is it for the college picks this week, and we are moving on to the pro picks.
Wow, we might actually get in overtime when we're watching this Thursday night game.
It looks like it because Kurt just got that ball down there to everybody who's trying to count on for some extra points here. He threw it to Ty Algier. Maybe he'll actually throw a ball to Kyle Pitts, who's been making everybody crazy.
Kyle Pitts, it might be the bust of the week.
It's the fact that every fantasy football person was like, draft him. They got a new coach, and they're going to get him the ball. He's their best receiver. And it's like, nope. He's the new boss. Same as the old boss.
I know this is it's a little bit harder to find a good tight end these days in fantasy football.
He is good. It's just that they refuse to give the man the ball.
Hey, he could join the club with the Ravens tight end. Actually, both of those tight ends are the Ravens.
Yeah.
Mark Anderson and Isaiah Likely. A lot of these tight ends are not getting the ball. But anyway, who's the first?
This is something I wanted to talk about. There was a tweet that I saw last week. I was on Twitter a lot last Sunday when I was watching the games. This person said, I simply cannot comprehend that the Falcons, Cowboys, and Eagles all didn't want Bill Belichick. LMFAO, insane. I'd like to point out a couple of things. One,
it's called karma.
Yeah, it's called, well, not just karma. The Falcons are good. They have a good defensive head coach who won a Super Bowl with the Rams. His name is Raheem Morris. He's right there.
Yeah, he's a real coach.
He knows what he's doing. Bill Belichick is a great coach, but I just want people to understand he's that much of an asshole that nobody wanted to deal with him because it's 2024 and you don't want someone who's just beating down the players all the time. Mm-hmm. It's the same reason why Mike Zimmer got fired in Minnesota.
That 2019.
Yeah, he got tired of Kirk Cousins, and Kirk Cousins got them to the playoffs. And he might actually pull this off. And if they win this game, it's a huge one for the division.
So says that 1999.
The Cowboys have a good head coach who got them 12 wins the past 3 seasons. Bill Belichick the past 3 seasons combined for, a losing record. So unless he has one of the best quarterbacks ever and great defensive players that he's able to draft, people want out.
Oh, and who's his OC that always goes suck as a head coach? Maybe he just needs him.
Oh, you mean
I forgot that dude's name is.
The other old man? He's retired.
No, he's not old.
Not Romeo Cornell.
No, not Romeo Cornell. The other dude that he wanted to be the Cleveland's coach and all that stuff like that as well. Turned out in Minneapolis. No, not that dude.
Shane Steichen.
No, we're going to all the good coaches. What's that dude? they suck. No, not that guy. Shoot.
You mean the guy who puts the pencil behind his ear? The one who lost 70 pounds out of nowhere?
No, not Matt Patricia. He was a defensive coordinator. I'm talking about the offensive coordinator guy.
Bill O'Brien, who's the head coach of BC.
No, you keep talking about good coaches. What's that hard? I'm talking about there's something about Patricia, but I forgot the other dude's name.
Oh, Patricia's a defensive guy. Although
yeah, but they made him an offensive coach for some strange reason. He sucks as a head coach.
It was odd. Yeah, he said. Yeah, that was the craziest thing that Bill Belichick said, sticking up for his guy. He said, Matt Patricia, the reason why the Lions are so good right now is because all the work Matt Patricia did. No one who is on that team currently, I believe, is still there from when Matt Patricia was the head coach. He turned over the entire roster trying to remake the Midwest Patriots, and it didn't work. It did not work.
Who's that dude?
So
yeah, Josh McDaniels.
Josh McDaniels.
No.
He was a good OC. I can't lie. Josh McDaniels was a good offensive coordinator. It did not work in Denver, and it didn't work in with the Raiders, which is why Antonio Pierce got his job. But Pierce is out there making business decisions, which means we're getting rid of our best receiver so we can get a better draft pick. We know it's not going well.
I think Pierce is about to make the Raiders are about to make a business decision on Pierce if he keeps it up. Because I don't know if you saw that press conference when they was trying to ask him about Devontae Adams, and Pierce all of a sudden was all nicely buttoned lip all of a sudden. It looked like he got called into the principal's office and got a little spanking.
Yeah, he had nothing to say.
I should say verbal spanking.
It's more the fact that when you're the head coach, you can't start making decisions for the offense coordinator. I mean, you can't start making decisions for the GM who's like, hey, man, I got to trade this guy. You can't sit here and talk about how bad he is. We're trying to get somebody to give up a second-round pick for him. But speaking of that, do you want the Jets to go out and get him?
Yes.
No matter really.
Me and the rest of the Jet fans and the Jet Station, Jets Twitter, there's actually a Jets Twitter out there. They have been talking about this dude for over a year. This is last year. We've been talking about getting this dude.
You think he makes the team that much better? Because you already have Garrett Wilson.
Literally, remember Garrett Wilson actually wore 17 last year, the number 17.
Yeah.
Garrett Wilson changed his number to 5 this year. And then everybody's speculating. just in case. Somebody, I forgot who the player is just holding the number 17, but it definitely is not Gary Wilson anymore. Oh, wow. I don't know what's happening right now. I'm going to have to rewind that, but I see Raheem Morris is a little bit upset there.
There's 1 second left. It's 2nd and 15, and they're practicing for the kick.
But yeah, what was I saying? Good, yeah, Gary Wilson changed it to number 5. Now that's why he's known his new nickname G5. But he was having 17 for the last 2 years. And for some strange reason,
that was his number in college, I'm guessing.
Right.
Okay.
But that's gonna be what's the name? I'll give it by next week. If anything,
tie the game. Let's see.
Yep. We're going overtime.
Ice cold cool, baby. Ice cold.
That dude is a man.
Oh yeah, they got the highlight film of him in Atlanta. He's living it up down there. He is their guy. Overtime, extra football, folks, on Thursday night. Hope y'all got Amazon. Wow. I love Al Michaels calling this game because he does not give a shit. He be saying whatever he wants. That man is like 80. He does not care no more.
He don't care. He's grandfathered in. What are they going to do? Fire him? They're never going to do that. Exactly. They can't do it.
Our first game that we're going to talk about is the Jets at Minnesota, which is a home game for Minnesota. Basically, they're both away in London. I think they're playing in Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. It's one of 4 or 3 games this year international. 2 in London, 1 in Germany.
Right.
Correct? Yeah. I'm going to let Ant go first since he's our resident Jets homer.
All right. Yeah. I'm a little bit afraid of this game right now, especially from what happened last week. There was a lot of things for my Jets on my Jets side. Besides Breece Hall's not running like how he usually like he used to do last year. For some reason, he seems like he's a little bit off. Garrett Wilson has been off all year as well, not connecting with Rodgers. But the good parts, as far as for the Jets, is of course, is what Allen Lazard. He's finally waking up, actually earning his contract. Mike Williams is actually starting to work a little bit in. The things that you have to watch in this game is really for the down the road situation. Not only is Aaron Rodgers on his knee, but also his hands. I don't know if anybody was noticing. There was one play that I saw Aaron Rodgers playing with his hands or whatever, going, flexing it or whatever. Then there was another one he was looking at his hands, and people kept on saying, "Oh, he was talking about the catching." I don't know. There's something that maybe his hands is hurting anyway. But anyways, Sam Darnold is saying all the nice things in the media, whatever, saying these guys gave me a chance, whatever. I just didn't do the right thing, whatever. But I know he's looking at this as a revenge game. A little kind of scared of this game because Sam Darnold, he might be the average quarterback, but he does have sometimes once in the blue moon, he does have that little burst, especially if he has good talent around him, aka Justin Jefferson, Mr. Unstoppable in the league, but basically the best wide receiver in the league. I'm still gonna pick my Jets. I'm gonna still ride and die with them a little bit here. Hopefully they approve everything. I'm taking the Jets. I'm gonna take the under because I don't think this is gonna be a blowout game. I'm praying it's not gonna be a blowout game. I'm hoping that it's not Minnesota walking all over us so everybody can wake up early in the morning, sip a cup of coffee, and watch the Jets get their ass. No, I hope that doesn't happen. So, like I said, I'm going to take the Jets. I'm going to take the under. It's going to be my first lock of the week. Hope I'm ready.
The Jets are getting 2.5 points. Being as this is a game where everybody's flying over to London, I assume they've been over there for about a week. The Jets have C.J. Mosley, who's injured, but he is expected to play, I believe.
That's good.
Tyron Smith is just getting rest. This was as of yesterday. I didn't have the most up-to-date reports as of today. Aaron Rodgers has a sore knee. Elijah Vera-Tucker has a bad ankle. They're all expected to play. I think the fact that if you saw the Minnesota game last week, they literally got tired. And the only reason why they were able to win that game is because they pulled up a field goal in the second half. They scored all their points in the first half, and then Green Bay just started coming back on them. And Matt LaFleur is a good OC, and I think I would say this. Brian Flores is a very good defensive coordinator. Really good head coach, and I'll give him credit for that. But I'm pretty confident Aaron Rodgers will play well because he tore up a really good defense coordinator in the New England Patriots and Gerard Mayo. And that's where Flores comes from. So Mayo knows some of those defensive principles. So it's not like he's going to be able to throw something at them that they haven't seen before.
Right.
They'll be prepared for that defense, and I just have more faith in the Jets offense than I do in Aaron Rodgers than I do in Sam Darnold. Rodgers doesn't take chances, and he's not going to have to because if all he's going to do is blitz him, he knows how to break blitzes, and they'll figure it out, and they got better running backs, and they got 2 of them. Aaron Jones is good, and he's healthy, But the biggest thing for me is the fact that Minnesota's best pass rusher, Ivan Pace, is dealing with an injury. So we'll see how serious that is, but I am not very confident in them. And I'm just kind of taking the Jets because this isn't a real home game and the over-under is 40.5. I don't think they know how either of these teams are going to deal with the travel to London. And I have more faith in the Jets than I do in Minnesota right now in terms of winning a game that far away from home after them playing a really tough game last week. The Jets did as well, but the weather is not going to be a factor over in England. It's actually going to be a little bit warmer there than it would be in Minnesota. Well, Minnesota plays in a dome, but they're going to be playing at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium on real grass. And both of these teams are used to playing not on grass. So this, should make for a little bit faster of a game. And I think we'll actually play better, but I'm leaning towards the Jets on that one.
Oh, I had Devontae Adams being a Jet by Thursday. Let's see what happens.
I think the Saints might make a move for him. We'll see what that owner wants to do.
I was telling quite. I'm not going to say his name. Quite a Bills fan is that quite is either between the Jets or it's going to be quite Saints. Everybody else is going to still come up in it, but if it comes down to what Devontae Adams want to go to, it's going to become the Jets or the Saints because those are the two quarterbacks that he likes.
The Saints believe they can really win this season. They'll be willing to give up a second-round pick. That would make the team just so much better with him and Olave and Rashid Shaheed, because then you really have to pick your poison in terms of who you're going to try to double.
Saints would be sick with him.
They really would. It would really affect the whole structure of the NFC South and how good those teams are. I do not want to pick the Cleveland-Washington game, but it's one of my best bets of the week. I have the Washington Commandos beating the brakes off of Cleveland. Cleveland's defense has been average this year, average at best. Myles Garrett's playing through a serious foot injury. They're not able to cover teams as well. This rookie, Jaden Daniels, is completing 80% of his passes. Terry McLaurin is looking like a superstar. They could also use Devontae Adams, and they have the trade capital to go get it, and it makes sense. Mm-hmm. But I don't know if the Commandos are going to go do it. I like their new head coach. I like the whole vibe of the whole team. I hope DC is enjoying this young man and everything that he brings for them. But Washington is my first lock of the week. Cleveland's just on a downward spiral. People are dropping passes.
Game over.
They may not be playing great. I think that was Darnell Mooney for his third or fourth touchdown of the game.
I think so.
If I'm not mistaken, he's just getting open, and us Bears fans are just losing my minds as to why we didn't re-sign this guy.
And so is my fantasy behind because I picked him off free agency and just had him to sit on the bench for no reason.
And a big reason why Atlanta is winning is because the starting safety, who they paid all that money to, Antoine Winfield Jr., is not starting for the Tampa Bay Bucks. So we will see. Wow. Well, it's number 12. That's Drake London who caught the pass.
No way. Still, that was a good win. That was fast too. We just looked down and they just started overtime.
2 minutes into OT, scored a TD, game over. No playoff rules. It's not sudden death, but you can't end the game on a field goal. The Washington Commandos is my first lock of the week.
I actually like that name. I don't know who underneath the Washington's media people, whatever, when it was putting names in the hat, whatever, they should have put the Commandos in there because the Commanders suck. Commandos actually sound better.
Commandos is a better nickname, and I think people would like that if they leaned into that.
Right, they said a actual soldier or whatever. That would be cool.
I don't know
as a thing, but anyway, whatever. I'm going to go with you with that one as well.
Yeah, Baltimore at Cincinnati. The only reason why I mentioned Cincinnati, even though they're not 2-2, they are 1-3, correct?
I think you're correct on that. I think
they're 1-3. Baltimore's 2-2. They beat the brakes off of the Bills last week. Cincinnati has been playing much better, but their defense is horrendous. Baltimore's defense is much better. Baltimore's only -2. I can see them winning this game by a field goal. It should be the game of the week, but unfortunately, I live in New England, so I will be stuck watching the New England Patriots take on the Miami Dolphins, which is
the worst game of the week. The worst game of the week.
Which is a game that I would not want to go to if the tickets were $30 a person.
Sure, I wouldn't go there for $2.
Not be. But no, that's a long-time rivalry between these two teams, and that is a terrible game that I will be skipping. But to all you Patriots fans, you have a very good shot at winning that because it appears the Miami Dolphins no longer know how to play offense. But back to the game that I was talking about, Baltimore at Cincinnati. Baltimore, it would be shocking if they lost this game. I have no reason to doubt that they will win it. The over-under for this game is 49. I'm going to lean towards the over. They are very much able to put up points on people. T. Higgins and Jamar Chase are back. They are healthy. Kyle Hamilton is the best safety in the league. He plays for Baltimore. They've emerged as a front runner, especially after they put down Buffalo the way that they did at home. They're going on the road to Cincinnati. Cincinnati has not been great at home, but maybe if they pull off this win, it pulls them back into the division. We will see. I'm taking Baltimore. This is my second lock of the week. Go ahead, Ed.
Yeah, Bengals are 1-3. I just checked it out just to fact check ourselves. We got to do that thing because how social media is. But anyway, I'm gonna go the opposite for you because the only reason is because I know there's this kind of trend with the Bengals for the last couple of years. They kind of suck in the beginning. They start getting better little by little, whatever. And for some reason, they end up sometimes in the playoffs. So I'm gonna go with the Bengals on this one. And I'm gonna take the under in this one. This is gonna be my second lock of the week.
Right. And that's mainly based off of the defensive numbers and the lack of pass rush that Cincinnati's been able to get.
Right.
But you can't make the passer move, and it's Lamar Jackson. You got problems. You got problems coming your way. This is someone who knows how to buy time, and he will get guys open. And as much as people want to criticize his passing, he's a lot better when he has time, as with anybody. And Baltimore has been able to get pressure, and they've been able to cover a lot better. So, yeah.
We'll see what happens.
One of the most interesting matchups and probably the actual national game of the week, Buffalo at Houston. 2-3.
Oh, yeah, that's going to be a good game.
1 p.m. CBS. Somehow Buffalo is favored on the road, 1.5 on most sports books or 1. Basically a toss-up or a pick 'em. Buffalo at Houston. The over-under is 47.5. Buffalo got beat down last week. Houston lost last week as well. I'm leaning towards the Texans. Houston barely beat the Jaguars, who are now 0-4. I'm leaning towards Houston because they're able to generate a really good pass rush. I do not see the Bills having a star wide receiver, and I don't have faith in their play calling and their offense. Josh Allen is going to have to go, I guess, MVP mode to go win this one, which he has shown very capable to do. He's one of the 3 best quarterbacks in the league. Him, Mahomes, and Lamar. That's it. I'm going to keep it 100. That's it right now. Derek Carr played the first 2 weeks. He's been playing every single week except for last week. I don't expect the Bills to stay down too long. They're a bad matchup for a team that runs the ball well. Houston has all of their running backs banged up. Actually, I'm going to switch my pick. I'm going to go with Buffalo. If you make Houston one-dimensional, we will see. But they're a bad matchup for teams that run the ball well. Houston doesn't run the ball well. This is dependent on whether or not they can get back. Their top running back, which is still Joe Mixon. If Joe Mixon plays, I will go towards Houston. If not, I'm going towards Buffalo. Right now, I'm going to take Buffalo based on that contingency. Mixon has not practiced. It's Thursday. We will see. I am not locking this in. So if you're not sure about this game, I would stay away from it. Go ahead, Ed.
Well, I'm definitely sure about this game, and you kind of switched over to the dark side where I'm at. So I'm going to take the Bills. I'm taking the Bills, and I'm taking the over. This is going to be on what's the name? Diggs' so-called revenge game that we're going to be calling it. I mean, we call every almost game that when a former player shows up, their revenge game. But I think the Bills actually is going to know how to defeat the Texans, and the Texans still trying to figure out how to play with Diggs. I think they're kind of moving away from that, and I think the Bills is actually making themselves even more a dangerous team without Diggs. They got everybody to pass to. They got Dan good running back, and they got Josh Allen that can easily throw on the Superman cape. So I'm definitely going to take with Bills, and I'm going to take the over this one, and this is going to be my third lock of the week.
Oh, wow. Okay. Next up, we have the Colts at the Jaguars. I'm only picking this game because it's the only winless team left in the NFL. The 0-4 Jags played really well last week. They're at home. They were on the road last week. 2-2 Colts going to them with Joe Flacco, the oldest active quarterback in the league. This man was drafted in the 2000s. Okay. Comeback player of the year last year. Beat the Steelers 27-24. Anthony Richardson is not expected to play. Limited participant in practice. His oblique is still hurt. So we don't know. Jacksonville has a pretty good pass rush. They did lose their top pass rusher. Jonathan Taylor is also limping with an injury. He's leading the league in attempts and in rushing yards with 349 and 4 TDs. Trevor Lawrence has improved from last week. He's played 4 games, 4 TDs, 1 pick. Anthony Richardson has 3 TDs and 6 picks. Joe Flacco improves the passing offense and not just the crazy highlight throws. I'm leaning towards Jacksonville. They are minus 2.5 or 3 on most of the sports books. I think it's 2.5. The over-under is 45.5. I would lean towards the over on that one, but I like Jacksonville on this one. They did lose their best linebacker, Olafasum. I can't say the brother's last name correctly. I apologize. I know I'm saying it wrong, but I do not believe he is going to be playing this week. Brian Thomas Jr. and Christian Kirk are doing pretty well. So I'm expecting them to kind of pick this up. And they do have Eric Armstead, who they got from San Francisco, who's one of the better interior linemen, and Trey Flowers. So I'm leaning towards Jacksonville to pull up this win at home. This team is trying to get on the board and get a win. So I'm leaning towards them. Give me the Jags. Go ahead, Ant.
Yeah, I'm going to go the other way on this one. I'm going to take the man who came off the couch last year and won comeback player of the year. I'm going to go with the Colts on this one. I'm taking the over in this one. I think he's going to be slinging it. And I don't trust the Jaguars. I don't trust Doug Peterson. Not only, we've talked about this before the recording started, that Doug Peterson might be on the hot seat. I think he's going to definitely be on the hot seat. He might actually be gone after this year. And then another person who's on the hot seat is basically Trevor Lawrence, the so-called
Golden child.
the golden child over here. But the thing is that
$100 million man.
right, he got the contract out of all the quarterbacks that was drafted this year. He got the contract, he got all the accolades. The rest of the quarterbacks that was drafted, his draft class is out of quite supporting him as the backup or somewhere else. They're not on their team right now. Actually, you know what? You got Fields actually still doing good. He should be getting a contract soon. But as far as things concerned, we'll find out just real notice how these two guys are aligning throughout the years or whatever for some reason since college. But anyway, and actually even before college. But anyway, I think Trevor Lawrence has been handed the spoon, the silver spoon throughout all this time from high school, college, and even now. And I think it's starting to show. The crack is starting to show on him. People start to look at him and he got all this money and he's not really producing yet. Yeah, he got to the playoffs before with them, but can he do it again? Can he be consistent? Can he actually show himself to be on the upper echelon of quarterbacks? I don't think so. Maybe it could be a couple of years. I'm taking the Colts. I'm taking the over. I'm not going to make this a lock yet.
It sounds like you're doing some heavy pocket watching, some serious pocket watching.
Yeah, it always everybody always look at you doing pocket watching. If you talk to anybody about any type of thing, they always looking at when they talk about the quarterback's money, they look like they're doing pocket watching because he just signed his contract. What do you expect? He needs to produce. I don't care about how much he's making his money now. He needs to produce, no matter who he is.
Shout out to him for getting paid. He had leverage, so that's how he got so much money. And honestly, he is the best quarterback I think the Jaguars have ever had since Martin Brunell. And that's how he was able to get him for 55.
Yeah, he's the best quarterback for that part. He's the best quarterback in his class so far. But
Fields is catching up.
Fields is catching up. That contract's starting to look bad now. Yeah. And he might be on about to hit his third head coach in his career.
Seriously. I have faith in Doug Peterson, and I think it's more of an effect of the defense being more cohesive. But Indianapolis, they have a very good offensive line, and Quentin Nelson is a beast, so we'll see. It's dependent on how banged up Jonathan Taylor is and how they can attack that run. If they can slow him down, Indy's going to have real problems. So that's why I'm leaning towards Jacksonville, because they're dealing with so many injuries. Carolina at Chicago, a Andy Dalton revenge game. Yeah. I didn't think I'd be saying that. Sounds crazy, right?
Yeah.
He was the starting quarterback for the Chicago Bears one year.
Now, if he was the head coach, that would have been kind of cool, but it's coming back off the couch, too. Comebacks.
Bengals were able to get their first win of the season at Carolina, beating them 34-24. The Bengals defense is not good. Chicago Bears defense is very good. The Carolina Panthers are able to run the ball a little bit with Chuba Hubbard. The Bears are able to figure out the run game with a mixture of Roshan Johnson and DeAndre Swift. Swift was able to score a bunch of TDs, got them on the board, did his thing very well. Caleb Williams is getting the play call faster. He's able to understand and process it better. The Bears are undefeated at home. They are 2-2 at home. They're about to be 3-2 at home. Lock in the Bears for my fourth lock of the week. Carolina will be picking in the top 3 once again. Maybe they can get a new quarterback. I hear Shedeur Sanders and Quinn Ewers is available, as is Carson Beck and Jalen Milroe, all who put on really good shows last week in college football, if you like it. Deontay Johnson is their number 1 wide receiver. Pittsburgh let them go because they'd rather have George Pickens than pay him. Their number 2 receiver is still banged up, which is a 32-year-old Adam Thielen. Okay, I do not have much faith in them. I do like Chuba Hubbard. Their leading receiver has 20 receptions through 4 games. They did change their quarterbacks, and Xavier Leggett played pretty well. The Bears are going to be getting back Keenan Allen. I'm leaning towards Chicago. Expect the defense to step up at home and win this game for them. Bear down. Go ahead, Aaron. That's my third lock of the league.
I actually remember when Adam was good. But anyway.
Yeah, that was 6 years ago.
Yeah.
I'm not saying he's bad. I'm saying he can't do it like he could anymore.
He was serviceable 6 years ago. But it seems like an ancient times now. But anyway, I'm going to go with you, Ace. I'm not going to make this a lock, though, but I'm definitely taking the Bears. And I'm taking the Bears. I'm taking the under in this one.
And the main reason why I'm taking Chicago is if they can beat teams like the Rams and the Titans, who are bad teams, then they should be able to beat a bad team like Carolina. The logic continues.
The second worst team in the NFL.
Yeah, they're not favored by too much. They're one of the worst teams by record and also by statistics.
Actually, Carolina's the third worst team, I should say.
If anybody knows Andy Dalton, it's going to be a team that had him on their roster for a year and a half.
Mm-hmm.
And he did not improve in the past 2.5 years since. He's a capable quarterback, but he is not a good NFL quarterback.
He's a good
backup. -4. They'll win by a touchdown. I'm skipping the New England Patriots game. We're going to
what? Why? We always got to say that.
If that's a lock for you. If you know, if you have a lock on that, go ahead. So I got nothing to say. It's a terrible game, and I do not intend on watching.
No, that game is going to end up at the time nobody gives a shit. That's what. Anyway, moving on.
Someone's going to win that game like 17-9.
Ain't going to be no 17-9.
It's going to be like a 10-9 game like the Jets game last week. It's going to be
it's going to be a 2-zip game. It's going to be a 2-zip game. Somebody's going to.
If you're in the New England area, I would suggest you going to Carlson Farms and going apple picking and having some apple cider and some pizza, than watching that. It'll be cheaper. It'll be more fun, and you won't have to watch the Pats maybe lose a game to the Miami Dolphins and they're like third string quarterback.
Pat's trying to get a quarterback here. Pat's trying to get a quarterback. I know they got one on the roster somewhere hidden, but he's not ready yet.
They may play Drake May, who knows? But the way that they're playing, it's not looking great.
I got Drake May coming in the third quarter. Pick that. If you're gonna bet something, bet Drake May comes in the third quarter for that game.
You know what? Take Drake May over on the passing yards.
Yes.
Maybe you won on that. Arizona at San Francisco. San Francisco is favored by 7.5 points. I expect this to go up. Maserati Marv is scoring every single week. Arizona has won a game. This is the first 4:00 game there is. They are 1-3. The 49ers are 2-2. The 49ers have the same record as the Denver Broncos and the Las Vegas Raiders. Okay? They have the same record as the Green Bay Packers. This team was in the Super Bowl last year. I do not know what is going on. Deebo Samuel will play. Their running back has bilateral Achilles tendonitis, which is something that I've never even heard before. He's going to Germany to go get treatment.
Wasn't he there already?
It sounds to me like he's going over there to get something that ain't legal in America. I do not know what that is, but it's not a good sign for him in his career. Arizona plays mediocre defense. They play really good offense. But every single week, the team that is favored by more than 6 points always wins. Therefore, I am taking the Arizona Cardinals. There's no reason why they should win this game, which is why they will win this game. This has not made logical sense. The teams are 2-11 who are favored by 7 points or more. San Francisco lost to a depleted LA Rams in LA. They shouldn't have won that game. The Rams somehow did. Therefore, the Arizona Cardinals will somehow win this game. I cannot explain it, but I am taking Arizona. Go ahead, Ed.
I'm sorry, I'm going to have to go on the side of logic. I know what you're saying. We talked about this earlier, and you made a lot of sense. You're comparing all those teams and stuff like that. Everything makes sense what you're saying, but the thing is that I have to stick with logic. I'm taking 49ers. I'm taking the over, and of course, I have to, what's the name? Can stay over there in Germany and get his knees injected with steroids, all he wants, or whatever the hell he's doing over there. But as long as he stays over there, I got a good, nice fantasy backup, nice fantasy quarterback that I picked off the streets. I started him, dusted him off, started him, and he's doing good. So he can stay over there, get healthy, come back next year. Anyway, as far as for the picks, everybody out there, hey, if you want to go, Ace's logic, he did do the numbers. I'll give him that. He did do the numbers. He looked at the statistics. He pulled everything out. If you want to No Diddy. But anyway,
Arizona is also 3-1 against. Arizona is also 2-2 against the spread and 3-1 over and under. So take the over.
Oh wow, it's very. I really want to change this pick, but you know what? I'm sorry. I'm going to have to stick with logic. The 49ers been to the Super Bowl. They know what they're doing. I have to stick with that logic that they know what they're doing and everything's going okay with that. I'm going to have to do the opposite on you. Did you lock this in?
No.
Okay,
actually,
so I'm not gonna.
Actually, I am gonna lock it. I'm locking in Arizona as my. Yeah. So far, I have Arizona as a lock. I have Chicago as a lock. I have Baltimore and I have Washington. So I have.
I gotta write that. I gotta
three
remember
or
to lock
four.
down my locks.
Yeah.
But this is gonna be my fourth lock. I'm gonna have to make this my fourth lock, just so we can see what happens next week, and we talk about this. This is gonna be my fourth lock of the week, and this is gonna be our star game to talk about next week.
Yes.
To see exactly if logic actually won versus your statistics is very. What you said was very convincing. I was really close to picking the Cardinals on this one, but I'm going to have to stick with my board and go with the 49ers, and this is going to be my fourth lock of the week.
All right. And did I skip ahead? Oh no, Arizona and San Francisco. Yeah. Las Vegas and Denver. 2-2-2 teams. This is a division rivalry. They're in Denver. I'm taking Las Vegas. Las Vegas won by scoring 10. Denver won by scoring 10 points. They are not a good team. Las Vegas is clearly the better team. They have a better running back. They have a better head coach. They have a better defense. They have a better everything. They have Patrick Surtain. He is going to be occupied with one of the best receivers in the league. He is healthy. He's nursing a hamstring injury. I'm leaning towards Las Vegas. They have a two-headed monster running back, and they have a much better pass rush. Give me Vegas on the road, getting 2.5. Oh, Vegas is getting 2.5 points on the road in Denver. I have no faith in Denver. They got lucky last week because the kicker for the Jets missed a field goal. They lose this game by a field goal again. Give me Vegas.
Greg the leg, man. That guy used to be money all last year. But anyway, I'm gonna have to go the opposite way. The only reason I'm gonna go the opposite way is because of what's been happening in the news with Devontae Adams and what everything started with a couple of weeks ago, whatever, when what's the name, the Raiders coach was talking about business decisions and stuff like that. Antonio Pierce was talking about business decisions. That's the whole thing that started everything. He might not have been talking about what's the name? But the thing is that I noticed that little by little things are starting to unravel over there. I think that the little bit of distractions. I don't know if Antonio Pierce is a good enough overall head coach to handle those outside distractions yet. He might be a good coach, a good coach or whatever, but I don't know if he's good. And also, Antonio Pierce had to deal with that stuff with college as well. I forgot. I saw it a little bit earlier that I think they said they were going to get him for like 8 years or something like that.
Yeah.
So that's another thing that he's going to have to deal with. He's going to have to talk about quite in those presses or whatever like that. Maybe quite I have some of those players talking about that or whatever to the media. So I'm going to go with Broncos, even though they got the rookie quarterback, and the coach kind of he's not really anything ever since he left Drew Brees. There might be another 9-8 win or something like that, but I want to take the Broncos. I'm going to take the under in this one.
Turns out you need a great quarter. You need good players to be a good coach. That's how that kind of works, and they don't really have great players right now or good players in Denver.
Yeah, everybody can't be Andy Reid, or the real coaches. You can't put Bill Belichick in that category either. He's supposed to be a great coach, but take away his quarterback, it sucks. Same thing goes for Sean Payton.
It helps when you got a Hall of Famer back there. Next up, we got Dallas at Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh is favored by -2.5. Dallas has Micah Parsons hurt and Marcus Lawrence hurt. Therefore, I am taking Pittsburgh. I am not locking this in, but I lean heavy towards Pittsburgh. Dallas's defense has been bad, and Pittsburgh can run the ball. They put up 24 points last week. Usually when they score for 20 points, they win. This team is 3-1. This is Sunday Night Football. This is a two-story franchise with two huge fan bases. Pittsburgh and everybody in there in Western Pennsylvania and everybody else across the country who's rocking the Steelers colors. Ryan Clark's going to get up there on Sunday night on ESPN and talk good about his former team. Go Steelers.
I'm going to have to go with you the same way. I'm going to go with the Steelers. I said it last week. I'm going to say it this week. I'm back on the Mike Tomlin train. This dude's money. He's definitely going to be a Hall of Fame coach. He's first ballot in there. He's definitely going to be top 5, top 10. head coaches of all time. Give me the Steelers. I'm not going to lock this in. I'm going to lock the other game in where the refs are in control. We'll lock that game in. But anyway, give me the Steelers, and I'm taking the give me the under. Wait, what's the over and under this?
43.5.
Yeah, give me the over on that one.
All right, Ant's leaning towards the over. I'm skipping the Giants-Seattle game, although Seattle is favored by 6.5, so you can infer from that what you want.
Yeah, Gino in the beatdown.
I think the Giants are going to cover, but that's just me being superstitious with every single underdog somehow pulling out a miraculous victory the first 4 weeks of the season. But who the hell knows? Daniel Jones has not been awful the last 2 weeks. They've put up some points. They've lost a lot of close games, so they may not win, but I do think it's likely they cover.
Daniel Jones will be a good backup next year.
He will. He can run the ball, and maybe Seattle, is not able to run the ball. Gino, though, is doing some really good things, and that line is not great at blocking, and the Giants' defense does have a still pretty good defensive line. So they're still doing all right with them. Last game we're going to pick this week is New Orleans at Kansas City. New Orleans is getting 5.5 points. The over-under is 43.5. And who do you got?
I got the refs and the over. That's all you need to know.
And by the refs, he means Kansas City.
Taylor Swift is going to touch down over there. It's going to be a great old party, and the refs going to show up. They're going to wear the red and white stripes. Yes, I know Malik's out there somewhere rolling around and rolling his eyes, whatever, about how, I keep talking about this stuff. But there's even memes out there. Everybody knows this. This is actually true. The Chiefs are the new Patriots, and that's what it is. They want the Chiefs to win their 3-peat in a row. So give me the refs, and this is my last week. This is my last lock of the week, my fifth lock. The refs and the over. Even without Rashad Rice, too. Rashad Rice, you heard about his mom thing, right?
What?
His mom actually stole something from somebody's door. She's like, they showed her walking around, and then she actually picked up somebody else's Amazon packages and took it.
Wait, are you serious?
That's what
they
showed online.
Is this a rumor or is this real?
No, I actually saw the video. I don't know if it's AI or not because I kind of flashed by it. I got to go by.
But they know it's her for a fact.
Yeah.
You're reporting on this. Okay. Yeah. Well,
like I said, it could be AI or something like that, but I've seen it flash in the media all day. I had to do a lot of work. But they actually had her, she was wearing her Kansas City jersey, whatever, saying that, Mama Rice or whatever.
All right.
Anyway, we'll find out.
Taylor Swift has missed the past 2 games of the Kansas City Chiefs.
She'll be there Monday.
They got busy schedules. I think she has a concert somewhere off. The New Eras Tour is kicking off in Miami at the end of October. So she has pre-tour rehearsals, so we'll see. Her New Eras World Tour is taking off. I like Kansas City. I'm sorry, not Kansas City. I'm locking in the Saints, getting 5.5.
Whoa!
The Chiefs have something wrong. They somehow keep winning these games. They should be losing.
Oh, somehow. You mean the refs. Anyway.
This is going to be a game that they lose. The Saints lost last week on a 58-yard field goal. They came back in that game. They should have won. They lost pretty bad to the Eagles. They put 44 on the Dallas Cowboys defense when they were healthy. They put 47 on the Carolina Panthers. Enough said. The Chiefs were struggling against the Chargers on the road and against the Falcons. They beat the Bengals by 1 point. They beat Baltimore by a touchdown. They are not going to cover this game if they do win. It's going to be another fluky kind of win. Maybe there'll be a call that people don't agree with. But I think the Saints are going to beat them down on them, and they're going to be very prepared, and they're going to step up for this game. They're going to be getting everybody's best shot all year. I'm taking the New Orleans Saints. I do not believe the Chiefs can maintain winning every single game by one score or less, or 1 point games. Mahomes isn't playing great, and I don't expect him to just fix it in a week. Rashee Rice is hurt. He may not be out for the year, but I don't know who they're going to throw the ball to. And Travis Kelce is the same age as Rob Gronkowski, who has been retired for 3 seasons. I do not even know who their healthiest. Isaiah Pacheco's not playing. Carson Steele has 2 fumbles, and he's lost both of them. Kareem Hunt is their only hope. Xavier Worthy is a rookie. Travis Kelce, he's not having a great season, and they kind of need him right now to win this game, and I don't think it's going to happen. His best game was last week when he had 7 catches for 89 yards, no TDs. We will see. He's had to step it up each week, so maybe he's a little bit healthier and he's a little bit more warm and worked into the season. Pacheco and them not being able to run the ball really affects their offense, and the Saints' defense has gotten better. Give me the Saints and take the cover. I might even take a money line to win. I'm locking in the Saints. It's my 5th lock of the week.
Oh, and I found the post. I found the article in it. It was actually in the post.
Yes. So according to the New York Post, Rashee Rice's mom is accused of package theft. Video in her jersey. Good Lord.
Yeah,
Maybe
I saw it too.
I'm assuming that was delivered to the wrong address, but I'm not accusing this woman of theft based on what the New York Post has said. That reputable organization. But whatever. I'm not here to talk bad about somebody's mom because I know Rashee Rice will come pull up on me just for doing that. I assume they delivered it to the wrong house, which happens all the time. So I'm going to extend her some grace and give her the benefit of the doubt, and I assume that's what happened. Or it's not even someone who's related to him who just happened to have on a Chiefs jersey.
Yeah, I had to do a lot of apologizing for this show, to Chris Knapp. So we don't want to do that to anybody else.
Well, he got a ring, but he played as much as he needed to. But speaking of basketball, how do you feel about the Knicks' new addition?
I actually like him. At first, I was a little bit upset because I wanted Divincenko to stay, and I really loved him last year and stuff like that. But I actually like this move. We was talking about it earlier before we started recording. The paint is going to be a little bit clearer with what's name pulling out with Carl Anthony basically pulling
Towns,
Towns pulling. Yeah, he's pulling everybody out, all the big men out, because they got to defend that three or shoot his outside shooting. You got all the players get to go, score on their own. We basically match up now with Boston. We basically match up. You said it before with Miami.
Yeah.
We see how things go. We actually can go a little bit deeper in this.
With Cat on the team, it forces the other player's center or best defensive big man to come out of the paint and guard him. That is the advantage to having your tallest player or your big man take threes. That's why Naz Reid is a matchup nightmare for teams out west, because it forces your big man to come out and guard him. That would mean Joel Embiid is going to have to come out to the foul line and three-point line to come help out. And once that happens, you're going to need Paul George to protect the rim.
Yeah, that's not happening.
So that's not a great sign for you. Miami plays really tough defense, so they're probably going to foul you going to the rim anyway. So that may not affect how they play because that's just their style of basketball. They're going to have to find a way by hook or by crook to just generate more points because they're not a great offensive team. I think the Knicks are now a top 5 offensive team in the East. And I actually think it improves their defense. Karl Anthony Towns has averaged a block a game for his entire career, which is more than what Julius Randle would have to do. They will be able to take their time with getting Mitchell Robinson back. When he does come back, they could probably play them both at the same time.
No, that's
who knows?
Sick.
And that would be sick because that means you'd have 2 7-footers out there and one who can just float around at the 3-point line and then do rim runs. And then you have 2 guys that you have to worry about getting dunked on alley-oops. And we know Brunson can find people and get people open. And Mikal Bridges doesn't miss games. So for that, I think the over-under for the Knicks now is at this point is at 49.5 games for the season. I want to make sure because that's the one prop bet I've been looking at for the whole season, which is kind of crazy to me. But yes, the NBA odds, and it's been one of the funnest things for me. But I just been checking this out and just looking at how well that the Knicks are going to be doing this year, and I'm really enjoying it because I really think those over-unders on the wins totals are going to be huge.
But if it's still the same like that, I'll definitely take that now before it changes.
Yeah, I would go on to DraftKings and check those out for the future bet. And they kind of change them even for the NFL all the time. If you took the win totals for the Bears, that's looking pretty good in terms of what I'm saying. But Ant, do you have any shout-outs?
All I got is one shout-out. I'm not going to do no funny curse certain media people out yet. I want to say that for later. But my shout-out is quite a good one. Is to Kirk Cousins and Baker Mayfield. I don't know if you heard it, but both of these players pledged $50,000 each towards the Hurricane Helene relief efforts. So $100,000 together to support that. Hopefully, more players and more people support that, and pledge themselves or even come in and help out on that because that's kind of something that's definitely in need quite to happen right now. That's just going to be my shout out of this week. like I said, I want to save out my other shout outs for later because I can't really talk trash right now because my Jets suck. So I'm not going to shout out that. I know there's more other things I can shout out to as well, but I was basically only reserving this because I thought we might be a foursome today. But we'll see what happens
That's
next week.
fair. I'm going to do this for Malik, so I know he's paying attention to Major League Baseball this year. Shout out to the New York Mets for making it to the ALDS and winning that game today with a 3-run homer by Mr. Pete Alonso, aka the Panda. Shout out to the Yankees and shout out to the new Major League Baseball playoffs, man. I'm really enjoying this. This is the first time I paid attention in a long time. Shout out to the Knicks for getting Karl-Anthony Towns. And shout out to Thursday Night Football finally putting on a good game for once and not a blowout.
Thank you.
Yeah. And the Knicks win total is 54.5 games. So the Knicks have the second highest win total for the East. The Sixers
I'll still take that.
are 53.5 or 52.5, depending on the site that you're going to. And I would take the under on the Cavaliers, who are 52.5 on DraftKings or 48.5 on the other sites. I'd also like to remind everybody that the Kings now have the master of the mid-range, former San Antonio Spurs superstar. 10 years in the league, also on the stage with Kendrick Lamar over the weekend. If you haven't gotten all those clues, it is
Kawhi Leonard?
No, not Kawhi Leonard. Not Kawhi Leonard. Small forward though. Yeah, this is terrible radio, but whatever. Terrible pod right now. But Sacramento Kings superstar. It is DeMar DeRozan.
Oh, I forgot about him.
LA native, finally back in California, closer to home. Yeah, so pay attention to the Kings this year. I think they should be fun to watch, and they'll definitely be back in the playoffs. Shout out to everybody in East Tennessee, Asheville, North Carolina, Western Carolina, Northwest Georgia, and North Florida, who has been affected by by the hurricane and all the water that it dumped on them. We are praying for y'all. I hope that people are getting food and water out to you, and if all of our listeners who are listening for any way they can, as soon as we get some information, we're going to post a link in the blog so that you can find a way to donate that will get help to them as directly as possible. Okay. And shout out to the East Tennessee State Trojans, who got a win last week after driving like 14 hours to play an FCS football game and beat them down on the team on Citadel. So shout out to them for getting that dub. And we are out.
Peace.